Hi, my name is Lucy Chamberlain, and I am the co-founder of CNC Search, who are also the sister business to Altus Partners and Strive. Now, we find ourselves in a challenging period, and we are here to make sure that we're providing as much support as we can to all our clients, whilst perhaps you are going through a period of change, uncertainty, navigation through an uncharted period of time in our history. So we are going to be providing you with a series of online webinars and Zooms where we can add the most possible value. Now, today's seminar that you are tuning into is all around resilience in the workplace. And although resilience is something we need more than ever right now, it's actually something that even when this passes, you are going to be able to draw on the tools that we're going to talk through today, I hope now and moving forwards in your career. So this is an awfully long spiel about me in front of you, but basically the reason why we've included this is so that you've got a little bit of an understanding as to why on earth you would listen to me when we're talking about resilience. So I have built large teams, both in the organisations I've worked for previously, but also since starting CNC Search. And that takes resilience and an awful lot of resourcefulness. But more than that, I now talk on a global scale on all sorts of different subjects that I have both studied and learned from experience. And I'm thrilled to be able to share some of what's helped me and some of the tools and resources that I've built up over the last 22 years in business with you. Now, on a normal footing, we would be doing this interactively, and I would be able to share all sorts of different interactive tools with you that we would do together. But today it's going to be more me talking and you listening. However, we will give you an opportunity to send any questions and for me to be able to provide additional resources to you. So whether that's workbooks, videos, or any other tools that you hear about today that you'd like to know more about, we'll share how you can get in touch later. So in terms of today's session, these are the sorts of clients that I have worked with in the past and shared my knowledge and skills and hopefully at times a little inspiration with. And again, it's just so that you know that you're in good company today, and you will be joining us for this session along with many of the other clients that we work with. So the objectives today, and even if we just hit one of these, this will be fantastic, and is for you to really understand why resilience is so important, and also understand the difference between pressure and stress. And we'll talk more about that shortly. And also for building up the tools and the strategies that you can draw on whilst needing to build up that resilience. And actually what's fascinating about resilience is it's a little bit like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets, and the more your body automatically moves into a place of resilience. I know that for many of us right now, that sense of fight or flight will have been really, really present, and that surge of anxiety or indeed catastrophizing is inevitable at times like this, but we can help you overcome that. And additionally, we really want you to build your own personal resilience plan. And I often think there's always growth in the more challenging of places in our life. And when I look back at the different experiences that I've had that have required resilience, which has extended way beyond building a business, but indeed single parenthood and divorce and various other personal challenges I've been through, I realize that now when I reflect back, the learning and the growth that I had an opportunity to undertake through those challenges was incredible. And one of the really wonderful things that a coach said to me during one of the challenging times that I was really needing to draw resilience was, instead of seeing this as something that's happening to you, is trying to find out why it's happening for you. So rather than that victim place where this is happening to me, and how can this be happening, and why is this happening, and what's this going to do to me, is actually reframing that and looking at, why is this possibly happening for me? Now, I think for me, this situation is happening for me so that we can be of a much deeper level of service to both the clients and the candidates that we work with. I also think it's happening for me because it's allowing our team to connect in different ways and embrace technology in different ways. And most importantly, it's happening for me because the connection that I'm experiencing with other business leaders, with our clients, is exceptional. And I'm deepening relationships, connections that are going to be an amazing platform for our business and for me on a personal level when we move out of this situation. So I'd love to help you to reframe the current challenges that we're all navigating, from being something that's happening to you to something that's happening for you, and helping you find the growth. And I am sure that for most of us, our ability to draw on our own resilience will be inordinately improved following the next few months that we're all going to navigate together. So let's look at what resilience means to you. And I really want you to understand the difference between pressure and stress. Now, for me, when I feel stressed, and that might be because I am facing the unknown, or I have a huge workload, or I'm balancing the many different hats that I wear, from running a recruitment firm to looking after my children, the home, and all sorts of other different aspects of my life. And the minute that I say I'm experiencing stress, my cortisol levels go up. We associate physiologically with the words that we use and the stories that we tell ourselves. So the first aspect that I really want to talk to you is how we look at that sense of feeling in our physical body that something's happening that's feeling overwhelming for us. And so for me, the first moment that happens, the time I'm experiencing initially what I perceive as stress, it's about, for me, getting really in touch with what's happening. And I have some great tools to share with you. But actually, what we often frame as stress is simply pressure. Now, the wonderful thing about pressure is, when I say to myself, oh, I'm under some pressure here, I can feel a different kind of adrenaline going in my body, which allows me to lean into it. Whereas stress feels very victimy. It feels very disempowering. You know, I'm really stressed feels very different to, hey, I'm really under some pressure. So the first thing that I say to myself when I'm experiencing those thoughts, which is, oh, that's interesting. I notice them, I recognize them, and I allow myself to recognize that maybe it's not stress I'm feeling, maybe it's pressure. And pressure means it's time for me to get creative. Now, when the physical sensations are coming up for you, whether that is stress or actually whether it's pressure, I have some really, really fantastic tools for you to use. Now, the first is write it down. Now, I don't mean a list. I don't mean initially to start, we'll talk about that next, but I want you to start with simply doing something which some people call morning pages. I don't know if you've ever read a book called The Artist's Way. It's an amazing book, and actually the title is completely misleading. It's about getting out of our heads and into our physical body and doing something that moves that sense of stress or pressure into something positive that we can do something with. So it's a brain dump. So if, for example, when at times I have been feeling overwhelmed over the last few days while we're navigating, like I'm sure most of you have done, moving our team from internal focus to working remotely and looking at all the different pressures that our business might be facing right now, there have been times when I have felt overwhelmed. And brain dumping all of your thoughts onto a couple of pages of A4, doesn't matter how mad or how scrambled they are, you will suddenly notice that you're able to start lowering that stress hormone, cortisol, and start to feel much more grounded and in control. Because all that incoherent stuff that could prevent us from taking positive action, that's going round and round and round, often on a loop in our brain, once it's transferred and put onto paper, it's amazing the difference that it makes. So once I've done that, my second tip is to then write a list of everything that you are either concerned about or need to do. So you might be thinking, what on earth has this got to do with resilience? Well, actually, we're going to find out a bit more about how we cope and navigate with our sense of stress and pressure is the foundation of resilience. And the tools that we use are absolutely required in order to build resilience. So saying I'm just going to cope with something is the antithesis, actually, of resilience, because it's not a tool that's going to serve you or a method that's going to allow you to move forwards towards your goals. So I'm feeling overwhelmed. I've done my brain dump, incoherent scribbling, and then I will write everything I'm either concerned about or need to do. And I'll prioritize them A, B, C. A, this is a priority I can take action over. It's something I have control of. My B list is this would be really nice to do if I can. My C list is the list I am going to delegate or seek help over. And then my Ds are things I have no current control over. And that means I have to let them go. So we're going to look a little bit more at some of these tools in just a moment. I hope that's made some sense and resonated with you. And you can reach out to talk to me about this in further detail if it's going to be more helpful. So what's incredible is that actually resilience is one of the aspects of our personality that enable us to grow both professionally and personally the most, because it's foundational for our emotional and mental health. And it supports our self-esteem. It allows us to believe that we are able to take positive steps towards what we need to move towards, irrespective of our current circumstance. So it allows us to move out of a disempowering triangle. And I'd urge you to look up disempowering triangles, which are basically behaviors that really don't support us. And it allows you to move into an empowering triangle of behaviors. And again, because there are different behaviors that fit into different triangles that might be more or less relevant to you, but have a look at empowering, disempowering triangles of behavior. It's really interesting. And resilience is the only thing that we can really, really depend upon when we're facing doubt and fear. And let's face it, at the moment, we are facing so much fear. I know that having experienced 2008 and 9/11 and other periods of extreme uncertainty, it was different with this time. And this time has been the most different because of the bombarding of constant updates, imagery, because of social media, alerts on our phone, the constant ability to access up-to-date information, whilst is incredible, it's really challenging at a time like this because it's completely distracting. And actually the news, although it may be changing rather rapidly right now, getting updates at 11, 11:30, 11:45, 12 o'clock means that we have this constant adjustment going on in our physical selves, which often will get in the way of what we need to do to help us feel in control, calm, focused, centered, and to add value to the organizations, the teams, the individuals that need us the most. So the thing I love and embrace the most about periods of pressure, stress, is that, as I mentioned earlier, is when I draw on my resilience, it allows me to get really creative and it allows me to expand my comfort zone. So some people talk about stepping out of your comfort zone. For me, it's about expanding your comfort zone. So welcoming in this new period of challenge and knowing that it will afford you, in whichever ways, some level of growth will absolutely mean that your resilience will build and you will be able to draw on that throughout your career and your life. Not acknowledging that whilst this is challenging, but maybe there's opportunity for that development, will mean that you will stay stuck. And being stuck means you're standing in your own way. And I don't want that. I want you to get out of your own way. And I want us as a community of professionals right now to be standing together, to be moving forwards positively, because actually that's what will take us out of this crisis situation. So the difference that we were talking earlier is pressure and stress. So I don't know how many of you might have read Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In or her Plan B. But these are two books that really taught me the difference between pressure and stress. There's also a fantastic TED Talk on grit, which I also love, which is also very similar. You might be able to tell I'm a little bit of a learning and reading nerd, but I just love to submerge myself in books. I guess it's a bit like my escapism. But you can see here on this chart the difference between the two, and that pressure is a place of growth and resilience, and stress is totally disempowering. And what you might find is actually, even as I say the word stress, I can feel a physical reaction build up in my body. Yet when I say the words pressure, it feels different, the sense is different, and actually my physical response, which affects my mental response, is completely changed. So in terms of, I'm sorry, I've just gone back. So in terms of a model that I have always found very useful and enlightening when we're talking around resilience is what actually resilience truly is. Because I think a lot of people, when they think about resilience, it's kind of that, what we imagine with that sort of British spirit, you know, keep going no matter what, ignore how you feel, plow on. Now, whilst there is absolutely a requirement right now for us to keep moving forwards and for us to give the very best version of ourselves every single day, we can only do that by recognizing and understanding what resilience really is. Because actually, I'm going to let you know something. It's not about just coping. Because actually, unfortunately, what happens with that is complete suppression, zero use of tools, and a mindless way that we just trudge through, getting through, you know, somehow. And I want you to let that go. I want you to get true resilience. And Number one is through a sense of, I'm going to start with purposefulness. So really knowing ourselves and what we have to offer is truly important when it comes to resilience. So I have an exercise that I'd love you to do right now. So you can take this exercise, press pause, and then continue. And it doesn't matter whether you're a CEO or whether you're starting out in your career, this is something that is truly useful. Now, the exercise, simply write your name in the middle of a piece of paper. Draw a circle around it, and then 20 little arms, 20 sticks. There's probably a technical term for that, spidergram or something, I don't know, but for me it's 20 sticks. Okay, and I am going to want you, or ask you, to write down 20 aspects of you that make you unique. Now, I'm going to give you a little warning before you start this. This is not about what you do for other people. This is about what makes you personally unique. So what you will tend to find, especially with women when they start this exercise, I'm loyal, I'm helpful, I'm kind. No, that's not what makes you truly unique. I think hopefully we're all loyal and kind in our core. I want you to write down anything from, I can play the ukulele, I'm able to deliver speeches to 300 people, I have a degree in botany, I love to dance samba. Anything that makes you uniquely you. Now, everyone struggles with 20 when they start, but I promise you, as you get to know yourself a little better and as you spend some time thinking about this, you'll get those 20. Now, I want you to pause this video now and do the exercise I've just asked you. Okay, so welcome back. Now you have completed your exercise. It's tough to start with, isn't it? But the great thing about getting to know yourself and what you have to bring and offer the world is that it allows you to draw on all of those unique aspects of you in challenging circumstances. And it gives you a sense of what you bring to the world, which helps your confidence. Let's go back to purposefulness. So you have identified what makes you uniquely you, what you've got to bring to the world, and why you really matter in terms of your contribution. So that's number one. Now, because we need you, because of how unique you are and what you have to bring to the world, to be able to move forwards in the face of setbacks, I need you to get in touch with those and know how you're bringing them into your work, into your interaction with people, into your sense of purpose right now. And I want you to spend a minute or two or 3 or 5, however long you'd like to, writing down how all those unique aspects of you right now are going to serve your place of work, your team, your family, your friends, but what about those aspects of you right now is going to give you a sense of purpose and what you can bring. And I'm going to let you have a few moments right now for you to pause this video and to get all that down on paper. Don't just think about it, write it down. It's really important. And I'll explain why in a minute. Okay, so thank you. You've done that. That's wonderful. So we now not only know what makes you amazing and what you have to bring to this world and the business and our community of professionals, we also know how you're going to use it. And in moments of self-doubt, or in moments when you are really feeling like you don't know what you have to draw on, I want you to look at both all those unique aspects of you and how you are going to bring that forward, because that is going to help you to deliver the very best you every single day, which is what's needed. And you know what? This is called resilience. This is that resilience muscle starting to really be built up. So the next aspect I'm going to talk is I'm going to flip over to this part here, which is the blue bubble. And that is social support. Now, I think often we can, ironically, we can really isolate when we're trying to cope. But because we're not going to just cope in this period, we're going to bring forward all those brilliant parts of ourselves. It means that we need to connect with others to share how we can pull those resources. So I really want you to think about your connectivity with others right now and reaching out to communities in your workplace or externally within professional communities. And of course, with friends and family is the most important thing you can do next once you have really figured out what you've got to bring to the world and your world of work and your purpose. So I want you to think about how you are connecting with others right now, because actually the opposite of resilience is also a lack of connection, because you know what your purpose is and you know what you need to bring because you know what you have to deliver. And now I need you to connect with other people in order that you can be, yes, of service to others, but also so you, again, you are building your resilience and that network, your tribe, your broad circle, because this is not just about your friends, because friends often tend to be people that are really similar to ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. But a true connection with a tribe of people that can support you involves being connected with professional circles, with your colleagues, friends and family, so that you have this breadth of shared resources, tools, knowledge that you're able to gain from these other people and you're able to contribute to. So I really want you to think about connectivity during this time, particularly if we're isolating or self-isolating. I want you to reach out. It can be to me, but more importantly, it needs to be within your wider organization. And now is certainly not a time to be thinking about I, me. It's about a broader responsibility that we all have right now to come through this together. So that leads really neatly on, I think, to confidence, because actually the confidence that we have in what we have to bring and what we have to offer and our purpose, alongside connectivity, allows us the confidence that we need to face challenging situations and move through them. So this means not squashing them or using all the unhealthy coping mechanisms that we so often draw upon in challenging times, which might be overeating, it could be drinking lots, it might be social media, it could be allowing yourself to be distracted constantly by the news updates. And actually all of these things are ways that we avoid facing and sitting in the challenge. So I like, when things are difficult, I like to sit in it. Now, what does that mean? It means for me meditating. And sometimes it's only for 5 minutes or 3 minutes. But I notice this huge difference when I don't sit in the emotion. And for me, that might mean all sorts of things, normally a box of Jaffa cakes. But when I sit in it and allow myself to get in touch with what's going on, I feel the pressure, then draw on my resources and reach out to people and connect and embrace how I have adapted before. So that's the final part of this brilliant Robertson Cooper model, which allows such a deeper understanding of what resilience truly is, which is adaptability. Now, when we are resilient, we tend to adapt much quicker. It's saying and letting go of what was our normal and saying, okay, this is my new normal. How do I embrace it? And it's, of course, through all of the things that we've spoken about. But I do find it helps me often to reflect on the moments in time that I've had where I've needed to adapt. And knowing I did it, I came out of it fine, everything was all right in the end. So I did exactly that. And I did it, and I've done it many times in my life, and so will you. And I'd like you just now to spend another few minutes just writing down the situations where you yourself have had to navigate loss, change, challenge, heartache, career, side swipes, whatever it might have been, those really big bumps in the road that you didn't see coming. And I want you just to write those down, because that's going to really help you to know that you are actually way more adaptable than you know you are. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes right now to do that. So press pause on the video. Okay. So you're back with me, and I hope that you've really realized that you have embraced so much change and challenge in your life. And actually, you can do it. And hopefully, if you start embracing the tools that are going to give you that resilience, you're going to start bringing a better version of yourself to your work, to your relationships. And actually, these things have ripple effects. It's amazing when you start embracing these tools that we're talking about, the extent to which the ripple effect doesn't just go to your immediate team or to your boss or to your company if you're a founder of a business. It has this ripple effect that affects every single area of your life. So I'm hoping that in this brief session we've had today, that I've given you a deeper understanding of what resilience really is and a few tools to start with. Now, I want just to give you another tool to use. So there's this fantastic resilience questionnaire. And resilience is fantastic, and you can tell that I'm a Robertson Cooper fan. So I want you to use this tool. You can get a questionnaire, and it's quite enlightening, actually. The areas of resilience I still have to work on came up, and it's brilliant because, do you know what? As soon as I can see a gap in my ability to perhaps handle something or cope with something much better than just coping, but actually to move into something and through it, it's a brilliant chance for me to grow and get better and develop more and then be of better service. So I want you all to do this. You can click on the link here. It will take you straight through to an awful lot of tools and resources that are going to help you so much. And I'd love to know what it brings up for you. So you can reach out to me so I can immediately become part of your new community. And you are welcome to share with me anything that this brought up for you, as well as questions, or if you want some more resources. I have so much that I can share with you if it would be helpful, and if it's something you really feel that doing a much deeper dive on would be supportive to you right now, do let me know. I have books, websites, gurus, all sorts of people that can really help you develop resilience. And I really, really wish for you, firstly, to be safe, but also to keep connected, and for us all to grow and come out of this situation better and stronger with a sense of optimism and possibility, rather than a sense of fear of what's to come. Because I promise you, there will be really good, rich stuff that comes out of this current situation. And thank you for listening and allowing me to share a little of my knowledge with you today. And we will have more Zooms coming out shortly, and I look forward to sharing them with you.